In language learning, consistency is king, or so they say. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Emma, and if you've been around this channel for a while, you probably are aware of the fact that I am a bit of a language nerd, and I try to be a diligent learner whenever I can. And what that means is I will try to maximize all of the content, all of the material that I consume in my target language as much as possible, whether that be reading material, textbook material, podcasts that I listen to, music, reality TV, movies, etc., you name it. But you know, sometimes when you study a language, there are points when you hit kind of like a wall. You kind of reach a plateau, and the methods and approaches that had worked for you before seem to no longer work as well. And you try a couple different new approaches, but none of them seem to do the trick either. So what do you do? For me, because I enjoy studying a couple different languages, albeit not at the same time, but let's say if I study Korean and I hit a wall, can't seem to find my way around it, I will switch to Chinese for a couple months and give Korean a little break. But I still consume a little bit of content in Korean, like watching an interview or something, because I have less pressure on myself to understand more each time. Somehow in my relaxed state, I'm actually able to comprehend more than my usual tense self when I'm like actively trying to understand. You know what I mean? The other thing is, because Mandarin is a different language, which means I have to approach it differently, a lot of the times I will gain insights on how I personally learn Mandarin that are applicable to learning Korean. So when I come back to Korean, I now have had some time to step back, gain a fresh perspective, and also be able to apply some of the things I learned from Chinese to learning Korean. And maybe that is what it takes to break your plateau. But the thing is, for me, when I rotate around different languages, Korean, Mandarin, and French, I still try to spend the majority of my time in those target languages. But back in November, I would say, a couple of things happened that made me decide to just drop language learning for the time being altogether. No learning anything. The short story is that I had applied to grad school and I was supposed to start in December. And November was the orientation. I went to orientation online and figured the program wasn't right for me. I ended up dropping my master's program. And to be honest, to go to grad school, that was something I've always thought I would do. But so plan A was out the window. So I said, you know what, I have some time now. Maybe I should try to apply to Korean language school, because that has been something that's been on my mind for the last 3 or 4 years studying Korean. But in the end, that didn't really work out either. So within the span of 3 weeks in November, my plans A and plans B for my education, my career, I guess you could say, kind of both fell through, which left me kind of overwhelmed, borderline quarter-life crisis type thing. So I was like, you know what, maybe I want to take a step back from language learning for a little bit, just so that I have more free space in my mind every day to really think about how I want to continue living, where I want to continue taking my life, that type of stuff. So I think in December, I just stopped learning language altogether, and I returned to operating only in the language that I was already fluent in. So that's Vietnamese and English. And I was so surprised at how refreshing it was to not be learning a language, to not have to try to retain new vocab or new expressions, or not understand nuances and things like that. And I feel like I had more brain space to contemplate more profound things. I am currently in my crocheting and podcasting era, and I recently stumbled on a podcast show that I really enjoy called Diary of a CEO. I think you may have heard of it before, but essentially the host invites a lot of guests that specialize in fields like psychology, medicine, business, relationships, anything and everything under the sun, really. And yeah, they raise a lot of interesting topics that I otherwise would not have contemplated had I still been learning languages and operating in those languages. Because if you think about it, my level in my target languages are anywhere between beginner and intermediate, which means that the language that I consume is mostly around that level. It will concern daily things like At this point, I've probably learned how to name furniture around the house in 5 different languages. Really everyday, tangible things. My level and my target languages are nowhere enough to contemplate really abstract, intangible concepts that are really food for thought. To be honest, the reason I stumbled upon Diary of a CEO is because recently a lot of people in my friend circles are getting engaged or getting married. And although I don't have any pressure to get married soon, I thought it was still a good idea to give that subject matter a little bit more thorough thought. And I went in listening to podcasts about relationships and marriage and health, longevity, divorce, all those kind of things. But I actually came out just learning a lot more about how to be a good human being, how to, I guess, move through life in a way that brings you and the people around you the most joy, the most fulfillment, how to grow, how to cooperate, and things like that. A lot of good food for thought that has helped me change the way that I interact with people around me in my life and has really improved the quality of my life for the better. And I realized that this was what I was missing out on when I was not operating in the languages that I was already fluent in. And although my job is tutoring English, I tutor test prep English, advanced English, I still don't usually use the entire breadth or depth of my fluent languages. And if you think about it, language is a medium for thought. The way that you use language has a big effect on the way that you think, essentially. Yeah, I took a break from language because I was overwhelmed, but I didn't know that taking that break could bring me a lot more good things than I had initially expected. From here on forth, will I continue to learn languages? Yeah, probably. I still enjoy it, but I think I won't put too much pressure on myself to really maximize my time in my target language, but also create time, create space to contemplate things in my fluent languages, usually deeper, more profound things about who I am, about how I want to live, about my relationships with other people, etc. I feel like this video is definitely not my usual how-to videos, but more of like a heart-to-heart yap session, if you will. So I guess in terms of taking breaks, whether in language or any other part of your life, it is not always a bad thing to know when to step back, take a break. I think if you're rotating in between languages, you could still reap benefits from the new target language, take those insights to your old target language, or if you just have one target language and you just stop cold turkey for a couple months, maybe you will find more nuggets of wisdom, more food for thought and contemplation that helps you become more of the person that you wish to express than you would think. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents. I would love to hear what your take is on this subject matter, on taking breaks, whether that be in languages or otherwise. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below. And if I happen to stumble upon any other interesting thoughts, you'll be the first to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!